So I have been bouncing around from agency to agency since 2014. I've worked for some of the world's largest and most successful advertising agencies as everything from a specialist to director level positions, understanding the ins and outs of their businesses. Well, one of the first problems with most agencies lies within how they charge. So many agencies out there are still trying to charge a percentage of ad spend, which is crazy to me. That typically ranges from 10 to 20% of ad spend with steep minimum fees to cover the cost of their employees. This, as you can imagine, can get very expensive. Imagine spending $100,000 a month on ads and having to pay $20,000 every month to that agency on top of your $100,000 in ad spend. Now, before you start thinking that that's acceptable, let me point out the big problem with this. What these agencies won't tell you is that they typically only assign one or two junior to mid-level experienced ad buyers to your account. All the high-level experienced employees get promoted to director-level positions and are not hands-on in your accounts. I see it all the time, brands paying $20,000 or so a month for basically just a junior-level employee that most of the time is still learning how to ad buy. That's a good question. Hiring a truly valuable, experienced ad buyer would cost you a minimum of $80,000 a year salary. All the employee paperwork, insurance, onboarding, benefits, headaches, everything else that comes with it, which doesn't sound like a terrible deal, I get it, but there are also cons. It's a bit of a gamble. You don't know truly their expertise. You don't get access to industry insights, which is basically what's working for other brands, strategies that are working for other brands. If you hire the smarter agencies out there, you'll only need a 1099, a signed agreement to have access to multiple high-level ad buyers, which also comes with industry insights, multiple marketing minds in your ad accounts at a cost that is likely less than the cost of a single in-house ad buyer if you find the right team. This, unfortunately, is a tough one. I would find out information on the team members assigned to your accounts, what their experience has been with ad buying. Ask for an audit. Good, honest agencies will gladly do an audit for free even. Watch out for agencies that try to beat around the bush with a client thinking things are going well so they can keep you spending money. I prefer being upfront about issues and bringing solutions, because too often agencies will sell you on small wins to cover up bad results. Our cost per click went down 20% week over week, which is a big improvement, when in reality, the return on ad spend took a dive. It's very easy to manipulate interpretation of data. When people say ad buyers who have managed more ad spend means that the ad buyer must have more experience or is better, this is easily one of the biggest lies I can think of. Usually those brands that have the budgets for higher spends are the easiest to scale. They are already successful enough to be spending that kind of money, so you already have an advantage over the tiny budget clients. You also have the budget to test a lot and prove what works and what doesn't. Most good ad buyers know this. There are some big clients that can be a lot of work. I've been at agencies that require a 10 plus ad buying team just for one of these types of clients. To me, what makes a great ad buyer is the ability to help a brand that feels stuck in their marketing efforts and successfully turn things around for them and scale. That, to me, is a skilled ad buyer. Most often, it's the brands that are just starting that don't have big ad budgets or can't afford high-end content. One client might struggle finding profitability past spending $500 a day in ad spend, whereas some brands kind of hit that ceiling of profitability at $50,000 a day in ad spend. There are too many gurus out there. Most of these proclaimed gurus just worked for a company that had a product that sold itself really, really well. This kind of stuff happens all the time with gurus. I worked with a guy that worked with one of the highest spending e-commerce brands to this day. The agency I was working for at this time wanted to hire this guy for a ridiculous amount. That guy only had experience with a brand that naturally sold itself and was taking all the credit. Don't buy into people who take claim to being the reason one brand they work with was successful. If anyone could actually guarantee your success, they would be the richest agency on the planet. Everybody would use them if they could actually guarantee results. What worked a year ago doesn't work as well today. Algorithms change, and so do people's interests and behaviors. I've also seen a bunch of small ad agencies pop up after the owner finds success in one thing. Their strategy worked at this one-hit wonder, and they think they are masters of the trade and can simply keep replicating what worked. It just doesn't work that way. No. In short answer, no. They often show off growth and success in numbers when in reality, they're getting away with hiring less qualified individuals because they are affordable and assigning each team member to manage upwards to 15 clients, I've heard. Imagine trying to put in the time each day for every client in an 8-hour workday. That would allow you 32 minutes or so in every account. Realistically, you don't have the time to really work on the accounts to find success. It's simply not enough attention. I've seen small teams have huge success. They'll outperform any big agency all day long. So no, the size of an ad agency does not mean that they are better or more successful. That's a good question. Some accounts are going to be much easier than others. I think a good cap is around 6 clients per skilled ad buyer. In my experience, that makes most sense. You might suggest that it would be beneficial to have each ad buyer just manage one client themselves. You don't need all day to manage one account. You can only test and do so much in an account in a single day. With ad buying, it really takes reading the data, which does take time, and money to collect data to understand what your next move should be. In my experience, if I am managing less than 3 accounts, I find myself twiddling my thumbs half the day. This is a great question. These sort of like all-in-one type agencies, in my experience, they have their specific style of content. I actually don't think it's good to marry an ad buying team and a creative team in-house because the content that you need might not be the style that that agency offers. It's just much better to learn from your ad agency what style of content that you think the brand actually needs based on the data, so you can find, and they can even recommend you the right creative teams to work with. 1, other ad buyers are high-level experienced ad buyers. 2, you're only paying a flat fee that ends up being more affordable than hiring one in-house skilled ad buyer. So there's no percentage of ad spend BS. 3, they'll gladly do audits for you, which I think is awesome when you find agencies that are just willing to do that, especially if they do it for free. It just shows honesty. 4, each ad buyer is limited on how many accounts they can manage to ensure more time in each account and better performance that way. 5, they have a rock-solid relationship with a bunch of really good creative agency partners, and they have partnerships with multiple creative agencies for the reason of finding the right creative agency for you, because every creative agency out there has their style, and their style might not be the best for your brand. So they have a few options that'll help you get exactly what your brand needs.